Welcome to a Stereo Tales presentation. You're listening to Sages and the Madman with Nidesh Vasu.
Hi, this is Nidesh Vasu, and I read writings and poetry from the great saints and seers from across the ages to help us introspect where we are at in our lives at the moment, and to help us evolve and become better students, better children, better parents, better friends, better lovers, and better humans. Let me take a moment to introduce the writer, poet, artist, and philosopher Khalil Gibran, whose writings we will meditate upon. Khalil Gibran was born on 6 January 1883 to Camilla Gibran and her husband Khalil Saad Gibran in the village of Bishari in what is now northern Lebanon, but was then Ottoman Syria. His mother Camilla moved with the children to the United States. They were part of the large wave of immigration that took place in the 3 decades before World War I. They landed in New York and then went on to Boston. In a few years, Gibran's mother sent him back to Beirut to continue his education. Later, Gibran traveled across Europe and was influenced by his time in Paris. He returned to live in New York. He considered himself to be mainly a painter, lived most of his life in the United States, and wrote his best-known works in English. Gibran's early works were sketches, short stories, poems, and prose poems written in simple language for Arabic newspapers in the United States. These pieces spoke to the experiences and loneliness of Middle Eastern immigrants in the New World. Gibran's first book in English, The Madman, His Parables and Poems, were completed in 1917. Most were composed in Arabic and translated into English by Gibran. In this episode, we read from his first book, The Madman, the parable, How I Became the Madman. You ask me how I became a madman. It happened thus. One day, long before many gods were born, I woke from a deep sleep and found all my masks were stolen. The 7 masks I have fashioned and worn in 7 lives. I ran maskless through the crowded streets shouting, "Thieves! Thieves! The cursed thieves!" Men and women laughed at me, and some ran to their houses in fear of me. And when I reached the marketplace, a youth standing on a housetop cried, "He is a madman." I looked up to behold him. The sun kissed my own naked face for the first time. For the first time, the sun kissed my own naked face, and my soul was inflamed with love for the sun. And I wanted my masks no more. And as if in a trance I cried, "Blessed, blessed are the thieves who stole my masks." Thus I became a madman. And I have found both freedom and safety in my madness. The freedom of loneliness and the safety from being understood. For those who understand us enslave something in us. But let me not be too proud of my safety. Even a thief in a jail is safe from another thief. Let's take a quick look at what Gibran tries to say. He talks about 7 masks that are stolen. The 7 masks that he's fashioned over 7 lives. These could be the different personalities that he's lived over different lives, or these could also refer to the 7 spiritual centers within him, which he's put his energies into. This seems to be a reference to him living a material, body-conscious life. His reference to a time long before many gods were born is likely to be a time before he's had divine realization or the gods being born within him. And the deep sleep probably refers to a very effective meditation from which he rises. Yet, the vestiges of body consciousness remain. he still chooses to chase after the thieves that have taken away the body binding masks. People react adversely to behavior they don't understand and either ridicule him or fear him. The sun, or the divine, or God, kisses his naked face, bare and without any impurities of his past actions, desires, personalities. One touch and he's transformed. He realizes his folly and is now grateful to the thieves who've stolen his masks. He's in the ecstasy of God contact or samadhi, and he's beyond the norms of the world or Maya. He is the madman. Gibran says he's found the freedom of loneliness and the safety from being understood. Loneliness is an ideal condition for the spiritual journey, an ideal climate for introspection and meditation. In seeking approval and understanding from man, one gives up their power and are trapped once again in society's norms. He warns us against spiritual pride, lest we be limited by what we know for what is yet to be known. This is my interpretation of this wonderful work. Hope you find this useful in your inner journey. If you think you'd like to add more to the interpretation, please write to me or join the discussion on the podcast page. In the next episode, we'll read about what Khalil Gibran has to say in his parable from the Madman, titled My Friend.
If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, please hit subscribe and make sure you share the link with others who'd enjoy the experience. We'd love to hear from you. You can reach us at themadman@stereotales.com with your thoughts, suggestions, questions, ideas, and more. Please also write in if you'd like to partner with us or if you'd like to feature us on your blog or newsletter. Don't forget to rate our podcast. Thank you for listening and for all your support. You've been listening to a Stereo Tales presentation.